Hello, and welcome to our session today where we're going to be talking about stress in the workplace, the signs of stress, and ways to improve stress level. Stress is a major factor in business. Stress can lead to business decisions that can impact people negatively. And we're going to focus today on three areas. One, why should we work to reduce stress? The second part is going to be how to recognize stress and what can I do as a person to reduce it. And then the third part is going to be, as a leader, what can I do to help my employees reduce stress? So let's talk about why we should work to reduce stress. One resource that I looked at was HealthLink BC, which is HealthLink British Columbia. And they talked about less stress leads to a healthier person, and as well as a healthier person leads to a less stressful person. Stress is a direct cause of strokes and heart attacks. That's just statistical data tells us that, and that could lead to a healthier person. Less stress equals more happiness. Statistical data also shows us that stress is a leading cause of depression. And vice versa on that, happier people lead to less stressful people. The next part we're going to look at is less stress results in fewer sick days being taken. Studies show that 60% of all sick days taken each year are due to stress. And the last thing that we're going to look at in this section is less stress leads to less staff turnover. There's a Wall Street Journal report that showed that a study that showed that 33% of employees contemplated quitting their job due to stress, and 14% did quit. These information was pulled from an article by Rebecca Maxson, which is Stress in the Workplace, a Costly Epidemic, which is published on the Farley Dickinson University News Publication Magazine Summer of '99 edition.
Hey, today we're talking about why we should work on reducing stress in the workplace in reference to how less sick days will be taken in the workplace upon lowering stress. Stress can be detrimental to your health if not acted upon quickly, and it can be bad for both the employee and the business. Less sick days being used for the workplace in reference to health and mental health should be something that the business should work towards when creating policies around the business in relation to stress. Today we're talking about why to reduce stress in the workplace and how less stress leads to less staff turnover. Stress in relation to turnover is another reason why we should put an emphasis on reducing stress in the workplace. Stress makes the reason to leave the job much easier. Stress also hinders you from performing your job at the highest level, which could also result in you losing your job. This is in fact another reason why businesses and companies should be implementing ways to create less stress in the workplace. Recognize stress, you have to take into consideration what is stress. Stress is the response a person has to a situation. When it comes to recognizing the way an individual is going to understand the situation or where the stress is coming from, you have to take into consideration the behaviors. The behaviors could look like frustration, or it could look like the employees not performing at the same level that you're used to seeing them perform at. Another characteristic of, I would say, stress in the workplace would be losing social cues, or like withdrawing from socializing. Um, Another one could be the way the employee's demeanor changes or their attitude changes. The next thing that you need to take into consideration is, what can I do as an employer to reduce stress in the workplace? And what's causing stress in the workplace? Uh, that could be a couple of things. It could be internal factors, it could be external factors. What needs to be focused on here, though, is what can we do as an employer to reduce stress in the workplace? And some of those things could be offering benefits that encompass mental health and offer mental health days that are PTO but not pulled from your vacation time, or create a culture that doesn't revolve around necessarily having to be there every Friday of a month. Maybe give a 3 day weekend to your entire staff once a month. You could also create a more relaxed environment that they're working in. So you could have snack machines, you could have a basketball goal, arcade games. Um, some companies are allowing people to bring pets into the office, so that could be stress relieving. Another approach that could be taken could be offering flexible work hours, a 4 day work week. That would be measuring work and productivity rather than looking at it as in time. You could offer more competitive.
Thank you, Chris, for doing that for us. I'm going to focus on, as a leader, what can I do to help my employees reduce stress? Just say this was very important to me for this project because I am a manager or a supervisor at my job, and I lead a team of 16 people. So it's very important for me, in the environment that I have, to be sure that we have less stress on my employees. I work in a call center. A lot of people don't realize that a lot of people say that it's not a strenuous job, which is true. It's not physically strenuous, but it is very mentally challenging at times. So it's important to me, in particular, that I find ways to reduce the stress of my employees. First thing is encourage open communication. That is the first thing that I do with my new hire employees. The first time I meet with them, I ensure that they understand that I have open communication. I have an open door policy. Um, Also, want to make sure that they know that anything they bring to me will be kept confidential. Um, I think it's important also that they know that I have been in their shoes, so they know that I have done the job that they do, and I understand what they go through on a daily basis. Just speaking of my job in particular, I've been there for 17 years. 10 and a half years of that I spent on the front lines answering phone calls just like my staff does. So I truly do know where they're coming from and what they go through on a daily basis. The second part about as a leader of what we can do to help reduce stress of my employees is offer them time off. Ensure they're allowed to utilize their PTO time. Now we do have time set aside for them to be able to use it. There's an allotment of people we can have off per day, and I'm also one that we work with individuals if they have an emergency situation come up where they need to take a day off, and because of something that came up unexpected, or for whatever reason they couldn't get the day off, then we always look to work with them on that. The other thing that I do is we run monthly contests around metrics that they have, such as their after call work time, their quality audits, their uh, customer satisfaction survey scores. And what we do for prizes for that is they are awarded or rewarded for their efforts, and the ones that win the contest, and they are um, awarded time off the phone where I will actually take calls for them during that time period. Um, Another thing, offer mental health days that are paid separate from PTO. I know Chris did some research on that as well, and that's that's important that we can do that. That's not something that right now that my company does in particular, but we do find other ways to supplement with that. Um, One thing that we do, because we are virtual now due to COVID, we do not no longer work in the office, so we have offsite outings. We One thing that we do is my team is not really offsite, but it is a virtual after hours get together where At least once a month or once every 2 months, we will get together after hours to where we will just have fun. Don't talk about work, nothing work related. Uh, we have planned to get together for a meal. Um, Another thing that they can do, not just with my organization, but other organizations, one thing that would help them too is have a fun day at a park. There's a lot of things that you can do, like I know in Winston-Salem area, we have Tanglewood Park, which is a very nice facility that they can rent a shelter, and there's all sorts of activities that can be done there. The fourth thing we can talk about is bring healthy diversions into the workplace. Have a game day. We do a game day at least once a week during a non-busy day. And then another thing that we do is around holidays, like for example, this past Friday when we had Halloween. For this Halloween weekend, we had on Friday we did a virtual hangout where they could just come in. There was just time set aside for them to come in during their lunches or breaks, where they could just come in and just hang out and chat, whatever needed to be done, or whatever they wanted to do. I'm sorry. Um, the fifth thing that we have in this is, as a leader, is create a more relaxed environment. A casual dress code. We have a very casual dress code at my office now. Another thing that you can do is offer snacks and drinks. Have basketball goal or arcade games. Another thing that can help with a more relaxed environment is, I know when my office building was downtown, one thing that we did is we had a relaxation room with a television, also a massage chair in it, where you could just go in, you could sit back, relax, watch TV in the massage chair. You could use it to just relax and get yourself relaxed a little bit. Another thing that when Chris was doing some of his research, he came up with offer a 3-day weekend every month, and that's true. And an extra day off goes a long way. There's different ways you can implement this based off of staffing needs, but that would be a way that definitely a way that could help reduce stress. The seventh thing that we look at here is offering a flexible work schedule. Offer a 4-day work week. A lot of people enjoy the 4-day work week. I know personally, I have a couple of employees that work a 4-day work week with different days off during the week. I've had one that worked Monday, Tuesday, off on Wednesday, then worked Thursday, Friday. She loved that because it was really helped split up her work time. I've got one that he works Monday through Wednesday, off on Thursday, and works Friday, and that works very well for him. I've got one that she works Monday through Thursday and is off every Friday, and of course she loves that schedule because she gets that 3-day weekend every week. Offering a split shift schedule. A lot of people don't think about that as a way to help reduce stress, but it does. I've got a couple of my employees now that we have offered that to. One, she works 4 hours. She works 8 to 12, and then she goes off duty for a little while, and then comes back and works 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. That really works for her and her with her home and children situation. So that's a real benefit to her, and guaranteed it helps reduce some of the stress that she would have otherwise. The next part that we have, number 8, the 8th thing was measure work based on productivity. One thing you can do is allow them to leave when their work is complete. That is particularly more so maybe in a manufacturing type job where you're not tied to, like in my case, where we're tied to the phone because we're open from a certain amount of time, from say we're open from 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. So if we set a goal for somebody to take 70 calls in a day, let's say they got their 70 calls in and by 5 p.m. and then I didn't have anybody from 5 to 9. Well, that wouldn't work for my business model, but it definitely would work for other models such as the light manufacturing jobs. The last thing that we have as far as reducing stress is offer competitive pay. Offer wages that are competitive based on geographical location, education, etc. I know a lot of businesses do that now. They certainly look at education and they look at experience, also the geographical location of where you're at. For example, we know that cost of living is higher in the state of California than it is in the state of North Carolina. So obviously those employees in California are going to be paid going to be paid more based on the region and the location that they're at. Just to sum everything up and to follow up on it, it's important that we reduce stress, not only as us individually to be a better employee, but also as to be a better person in general, be a healthier person, a happier person, and then also as specifically as a leader, we need to reduce our stress in our workplace and our employee stress to create that a better business environment and a healthier business.